Some stories are buried in the ground, and others are hidden in the pages of history. I'm Rob Rizzo, the History Digger, and this is the Digging History Show. In each episode, we unearth relics, explore forgotten people and places, and reveal the stories that still echo through time. We also dig into the tools and techniques that help treasure hunters succeed, from research to recovery. Whether it's discoveries beneath our feet or the mysteries history left behind, the past is waiting, and we are here to uncover it. All right. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. This is the Digging History Show. I am Rob Rizzo, and I am so happy that you are here. And by the way, today is March 31st, not March 30th. I had a typo. I was trying to blame it on an early April Fool's prank, but no, indeed, it was a typo on my thumbnail. But really excited. Got a great show for you tonight. And let me bring on my co-host here, Mr. Tim Blank. How you doing, Tim?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing super well. And once again, I am hearing a slight echo. Are you hearing an echo?
Nope. You got a little quieter though.
We can we'll ask folks in the chat to let us know if they are hearing any kind of an echo. But folks, really excited for today's show. I am fresh off of the Show Me event. Tim, you normally attend several of these local ones. You did not have an opportunity to make that one, huh?
No, the wife's out of town this past weekend and this week, so I had to stick around here and hold the fort down, right?
You had to hold the fort down.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of times I'm trying to
have a little echo. Let's see if we can take care of that. Isn't that something? Because Tim, right? It was not happening when you and I joined, did it?
It sounded great.
Okay, let's see now. Nope. Okay, Tim. I'm gonna exit. I'll come right back. I'll come right back in just a minute.
Okay. So did anybody in the chat go to the Show Me hunt? Or just Rob? From what I've seen, it looked like you guys had pretty decent weather out there.
Okay, there we go.
He's back. Sound different.
No. I still have an echo. Well, let's see what we can do here. Let's try something else here. One of the things I have learned with these live streams, you just have to be prepared. I mean, stuff happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Tim, while I'm getting my mic squared away, tell folks what you've been up to. I understand you've had a couple cool permissions.
Yeah, so I got some new permissions lined up that I haven't actually touched yet, but I went to a park near where I've been restationed at work nearby, just out in the suburbs of Chicago. So I just pulled up Google Maps one day, see parks near me, and I started looking at some parks around the area. And I went to the parks websites, check on rules and stuff, and everything looked like it was all right. So I went down there and poked around for a little while, and basically just told myself I didn't want to do any digging. I wasn't sure how the park district was going to handle it and all that, so I didn't take a shovel. I just took my little hand digger just in case, but basically just wanted to go for anything that was, sounded super shallow, double tapping, something I could either get with my fingers or just the tip of my knife. And that's what I did for about 2.5 hours. I was just digging. I did get a little sterling silver ring. Actually, I got a sterling silver, 2 junkers, and then a whole bunch of clad and pull tabs and can slaw and stuff like that. And then I was there for about 2.5 hours. I was getting ready to leave, and I got just another zinc penny signal, like an 84, 85 on the dais. and I just stuck the knife in. Like I said, I was just trying to pop the dirt so it kind of spreads open, and usually the coin just kind of shows itself. Well, I did that. It spread open, and a big
Hmm.
14 karat gold ring popped out. It's like, whoa.
Oh, you
Oh,
dog,
you
you
dog.
dog.
You
Yeah.
Hold
dog.
that
Hold
thought,
that
Tim.
thought, Tim.
We're going to pick
Start.
up
We're going
right
to pick up
there.
right there.
I'm being told in
I'm
the
being told in
chat
the chat
the echo
the echo
didn't happen
didn't
until you
happen
came on,
until
so
you
I'm going to
came
ask
on. So
you
I'm going
to
to ask you
exit,
to exit,
Okay.
come back
come
on, and
back
we'll see
on,
if
and we'll
it
see if it
remedies
remedies
itself.
itself.
Okay. Let's try it.
While Tim
While Tim
is
is
leaving and returning, we got a couple cool finds of his that we're going to be sharing tonight. Some recent ones. I mean, I was just a wee bit jelly, I have to confess, on at least one of them. But he has a knack for just putting the coil over the really good stuff. So tonight we're going to talk about some fantastic finds. We're going to talk a little bit about the Show Me event. I also have a product that I recently acquired that I'm going to share with you. We also have a bit of a surprise, actually, two surprises. You may notice I'm wearing some XP garb tonight. So there is a reason for that. Why am I decked out in XP stuff? You'll have to stick around to find out. But I'm just going to tell you folks, since you're here early and are working through the Echo stuff, we are going to have a giveaway. We are going to have a giveaway a little bit later. Let's see what else. There's a couple. I'll call them news items that we're going to talk about. Something that's kind of cool. Some of you may have seen some of the recent posts about these things called gold backs. Gold backs. We're going to talk a little bit about what is a gold back. Um, how did they get started, where are they available, that kind of a thing. There is another kind of metal detecting news thing going on. And then also Tim has a pretty cool trip coming up that only a few of us have had an opportunity to experience. So we're going to introduce you to his upcoming trip and what that entails. Um, and then we want to also solicit some input from you all with regard to these metal detecting events. Okay, so here's the thing. Tim is knocking on the door. Doesn't help unless I let him back in. There he is. He's back in. Tim?
Here I am.
I don't
That
hear an
sound
echo.
better? Okay.
Wait a minute.
Is there
Wait a
echo
minute.
now?
Is
Is it
there an
me?
echo? Say something, Tim.
Is it me? Is it the echo coming from me?
No, I
Can
think we're good.
Oh, good.
I think that took care of it. So,
Okay.
okay, so I just kind of went through the itinerary. Did you have something more you wanted to add to your find there before we go into it? Feel free to finish that.
Um, what did you hear?
All right, it's all right. I'll tell you what, we'll save it because I got three of your finds lined
Yeah.
up. But so, Tim, you didn't have an opportunity to attend the Show Me event in Missouri. Did you go last year by any chance?
Not to the show me hunt, no. I went to DTH.
Yeah,
Was seeing
Detecting
you,
the Heartland.
or was that the one? No, no, it was spring into summer. That's what I went to last year.
Spring into summer. I did both of those
That's where I
last
seen
year.
you. I seen you there.
This one I was not planning on attending because I had been, on the road with you and Jeff and
Dave. Yeah.
Dave and Gary down at Digstock, but I was watching Quarter Hoarders live stream, and I had heard so many good things about the Show Me event that I decided, okay, rather than stick around, I drove back to Wisconsin, and I ended up going down to Missouri. So for me, it's only like a 7 hour drive. And I got to tell you a little bit about the hunt. But to set this up, okay, we'll go into the chat. We'll say hello to some of you in a minute. But I want to ask a question of the chat. And I'm going to ask you the same question. And I'm going to pull up some pics from the Show Me hunt. But Tim,
Yes.
metal detecting events, whether they're seeded or natural, okay? What are some of the key things in your mind, and folks, participants, I want you to answer this in the chat, please, that differentiate, the good events from the so-so or bad events?
It could be just the attendees sometimes.
Well, this
And
event had to be bad because I was there, so
yeah, no,
I don't know, but
I doubt that's the
no,
issue.
you're right. The attendees, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the scale of it can be good and bad too about it. I love the dig sock events; they're huge, but sometimes it's not as intimate as some of the smaller events. Get to see a lot more people, friends and old friends, and new. You get to shake the hands with people you've only been talking to online and stuff. Which you can do with the smaller ones too, but maybe not as many people. The smaller events usually draw more locals than say out of towners. Not all of them, but some
Mhm.
of them. For the most part. Um, I don't really see a bad thing about either one of them really. I just I like so like swinging in the summer and detecting the heartland and stuff. Usually I don't even buy a ticket. I just go hang out. I leave
Mhm.
my detector in the truck. I just go down. I offer some money to maybe have some lunch. I usually pack a lunch, but have uh, a lot of times I'll bring a bag of V nickels and Indian head pennies and stuff, and I donate those for a hot dog or whatever and a soda. And I just hang out for the day. Go out and you just hang out with the guys and the vendors are usually there. You get to see Debbie and um, Hot Mess Fishing and all the vendors, reps, and YouTube people. Like you said, Jason was usually there. KG and Rengie will be at some of them. Just go hang out with those guys, talk to them, and that's for the local ones.
I put you on the spot. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you that question, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of, as you're answering and as people are putting their comments in the chat, I'm kind of like ticking off the things that I wrote in advance because I think it's really important to give feedback to these organizers, good and bad,
Yeah.
but here are some of the things just to build on what you said. So, how much of the prize, how much of the fee goes back into the ground?
Hmm.
And I'll tell you, let me just say right out of the gate, I thought this event, the Show Me event, was spectacular. I mean, it ticked every box. I have it's even hard for me to come up with some things they could have done differently better. But, you know, the other thing is it a combination of natural and seeded? Some people prefer one or the other. Maybe some people like a little bit of both. This was both. And I like what you said, Tim, because some of it was seeded. Maybe one of the downfalls of a seeded thing is after like 60, 90 minutes, there might still be stuff on the field, that field that was open for the seeded hunt, but it starts to dwindle down.
Hmm.
This event was over 3 days, and there was plenty of time to press the flesh, to meet people, to talk.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
That's getting to be one of my favorite aspects of going to these hunts anymore. Sure, the fines are. I mean, I don't want to go to a hunt runner. Me personally, I'm not crazy about the seated hunts. I mean, I have nothing against them, or I have nothing against the people who love them. But for me, I like the natural hunts. But anymore going to these detecting events, I go there and I'm chit chatting with people in the field, whether I know them or not, and go to the vendor. Like I said, go to the main event areas and stuff, and just hang out with the vendors, reps, and stuff,
Yeah.
and or the organizers, and just hang out. It's not so
Yeah.
much about metal detecting so much. I can detect here all by myself, but when I'm with these group of people, that's my chance and opportunity to
Hmm.
hang out with them and talk to them and
Hmm.
do that kind of thing.
I'm kind of like Randy. I appreciate, I know what you're saying, but I do probably lean towards the natural hunts, and these events, they can be more than just digging holes. We've talked about this. Other people have talked about managing your expectations going into these things, but
Yeah.
this thing, there were day hunts, there were night hunts, there was a pinpointer hunt, there was a kid hunt. There were manufacturers both supporting the event, but there were also some manufacturers, not as many as I would like, present there providing support. You know,
Yeah, I think that's an opportunity missed by some manufacturers.
but I will say even like um, Mitch and the team, when I was checking in, I noticed they had a bag of extra cables, chargers there because right. I mean, surely, Tim, you've never forgotten a piece of equipment when you've gone to one of these hunts.
No.
Um,
Like I said, headphones or something like that.
like something like that. I have,
Sure, no.
but like the ratio of land to participants is something that I've seen. This is a big one for me. Communication.
Yeah, that's
Both in terms of before, during, after, and I'm not just talking about like how much, but the tone of communication,
yeah, I've seen
right?
that in the chat too.
Exactly. There are some people really could do a better job in the communication area.
Scotty mentioned that.
Yeah, Scotty and I know exactly which one Scotty's talking about. These guys had food. They also had camping on site, which a lot of them cannot do
Yeah,
for
due
insurance
to
reasons.
insurance usually, yeah. Which
Yeah.
if it's what I can only imagine. We all know how insurance companies love their rates. So if it's anything like anything else that they insure, it's not cheap, I'm sure.
These folks, because this was actually held it was a KOA campground that had previously been a Girl Scout camp. And there was even a homestead, I think, prior to that. And there, by the way, there were some natural items found on the hunt, but there was also water, and they integrated a fishing contest, which I think Scotty took. I don't know if you took second place, Scotty, but Scotty pulled in a really nice bass.
Nice.
Uh,
That's
Scotty, he does he is one of the luckiest and talented guys I know. I don't want to just say it's all luck, but
that's fun.
I think I might have a picture of his fish. I don't know if I
And
do.
there's a lot of people in the community who likes to do fishing. They love to go fishing other than
Yeah,
just metal detecting.
yeah, I think there's some similarities. I mentioned the kids
A
hunt.
lot of a lot of similarities.
These folks had food trucks there. So anyway, hats off to the organizers, to the volunteers, to the supporters, the manufacturers, everybody that put that event together. I really think it was extremely well done. I would highly encourage anybody next year to give it a look at, and I plan on attending. So I'm hoping I see you there next year.
I'll try and make a point to go.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say, by the way, if there are any small things, pass them along to these guys. These guys are very receptive, open to feedback. I told Mitch one thing was, I know it's a simple thing, but coming from out of state, let alone out of town, I said, it would have been helpful if you put the actual GPS physical address on the map. The town, I mean, this is a beautiful area, but it was a very small town. I think I drove back and forth twice before I realized, nope, that's it right there. Behind there's the registration, but they're very open to feedback. I'll show you a couple pictures of what I found and just some of the ones. Listen, it was such a good event. I wasn't taking too many pictures, but I also have a screen capture of the website for those interested. You can on Facebook. They actually have a page, the Show Me site. You can go there and take a look at it. But here are a couple. Let's pull them up. So they had a well communicated flyer. I drove from Wisconsin, so of course I got to pass through St. Louis, snapped a picture, of the arch there, but got to meet Larry, 5 Mile Relic Hunter. He supports so many of these lives.
Yeah.
His wife, great people. Have you met them, Tim?
Oh, sure have. Larry's a great guy. As a matter of fact, I seen him down at Dig Stock here this past event, and we got to reminiscing a little bit. He's a good guy. He's funny.
Yeah, Corey Kunkel, somebody I have been wanting to meet for quite some time, and Digger, who I learned is only like a little under 2 years old. Beautiful Basset Hound. Rich is up in the top right, fellow veteran, and boy, I had a great conversation with him. He went back to his vehicle, pulled out his books. He has these books of coins that he found while he was serving in the military overseas. Walked me through everything. I just really enjoyed seeing him. I saw Bells again, Connie, and got to meet her husband and Ed from Hi Ho Silver. I'm going to be on his live stream coming up soon. Bottom right there, of course, we all know Mr. Action 5, Larry. He is a fun dude. You have had to run into him, right, Tim?
That's what I was talking about earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you have Lawrence Daigle, Action 5, and then on the bottom left is Larry, 5 Mile Relic Hunter. Okay.
Oh, Okay, yeah, yeah.
multiple
I've
Larrys.
never met him. I met Action Five.
Action 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he's
kind of top right, these are some fellow Wisconsinites. They also live in Scotty, as we call it here. Lindsay and Scotty McClory, Scooter.
he's
Uh,
Scooter.
and what you're seeing up in the top right there, those are like a combination of my finds from some of the seeded, some of the natural. By the way, these guys planted tokens and silver.
Okay,
So
nothing
some
wrong with
silver
that.
you found in the ground, some were given to you after you redeemed a token, and there were other prizes as well.
Okay,
Um, really had a nice opportunity to spend some time getting to know Jason Quarter Hoarder, and I'll just say, what a great guy. I
he's
mean,
a good
he's
dude.
he's very interesting as far as a detectorist and everything. But that's what I was saying. Like when you have extra time between some of these hunts to sit down and get to talk to some people. The only challenge with talking with Jason is you got to find time when people aren't lined up getting his autograph.
How about it? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
yeah.
it was. He was hanging out in front of the Nocta tent. I think the line was mainly to go see him down in Digstock.
And I will tell you, if there was an award for the manufacturer who I think did the overall best support presence, once again, Nokta. I mean, Nokta was there, Garrett was there, Merrill was there Saturday. I saw him Saturday, so XP was represented. I did not see anybody from Mind Lab, Butch,
Uh,
American Digger. Uh,
Steph Diggs was there.
at Digstock, she was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
At,
That's who I thought you were talking about. I'm sorry.
okay, yeah, I'm sorry. At the Show Me, at the Show Me,
Okay, okay,
at the
okay.
Show Me. So, and here's the thing: if I were a manufacturer, and there's listen, we've got to remember they're global. They have rallies all across the world, Europe, all these hunts in the U.S. You have to work at it to, I think, really earn their support, earn their presence. And I think Show Me, Digstock is big, obviously. Dig
Right.
Fest, those are some big ones. But hey, one other quick question for you, Tim, for the group. What other hunts in the US or even rallies, let's say over in Europe, are there any upcoming you want to give a shout out to, either that you're planning on attending, maybe someday you want to attend? I know there's a few coming up. Um, I think you got at least one or two more you're signed up for, right, Tim?
I don't really have any rallies signed up for, but I'm going to. I'm putting it in the chat right now.
How about
I'm going.
Detect the Heartland?
I'm going to. I'm going to try and make it to that. Like I said, again, that's another thing. I'm not on Facebook, so I can't get a lot of these signed up for these the events. So a lot of times,
Oh,
another reason
so
why I just
so so
go.
what you're saying is these people need also have a presence on Instagram.
That'd be helpful.
Tim can be found, by the way. Okay. Ill Digger, right? If you're
Yeah.
not familiar with him, so he's on YouTube. He's very active on Instagram, but you're also on Ring Finders, correct?
Yep. Yep. I just went on a ring search last night, unsuccessful, but I got the call.
Really? Do you get many calls from that, Tim?
It comes in waves. There'll be time. I mean, I might go months and never hear from anyone, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll get three phone calls in a week, or two in a day, or something like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
weird how it works,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So I mean, I think I've had three calls so far this year. Usually, you get a lot of them after the big snowfalls, people out shoveling snow and stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
in the heat of the summer, you'll get some calls to go to a pond or a lake or a river or something to go look for something that someone lost in the water.
Interesting. Yeah, and there are a couple people in the chat giving some shout outs to both these events and these manufacturers, and I would encourage you to do that. Listen, especially like Nokta donates a ton of equipment, and a lot of their nomads are at these events, and some manufacturers are backing away from that a little bit. So, nothing wrong with acknowledging these folks, let them know how much you appreciate their support and presence at these various events. And and
Yeah.
and this is a nasty rumor. I just want to put this. So I did see Butch and Debbie. So I don't know where Steve's coming from. He was there. He was there. He was present. So
Yeah, I mean they charge a lot for some of these machines. It's nice to see them at these events giving stuff away.
They do. They do. Here, I'll pull this one up. So again, this is just there's no music or anything to this, nothing fancy. Let's see if we can do this here in a way where let's put us over here. I just want you to, if folks are curious about this, because I really want to take a minute and show everybody how cool this was. This is you can go to the Show Me Facebook group, and you'll see some reels people now after they've arrived home and crashed for a day like I did are starting to post their pictures and everything. So check that out if indeed you're kind of curious about the event. You'll see a combination of finds, natural seeded, and you'll see a lot of smiles at this thing as well. So that definitely a good time. Definitely a good time. So, Tim, I do have a question for you. I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about each of these finds, and probably maybe the best thing for me to do. Let me set each of these things up. We'll transition into this first. Okay, this is the portion of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you have seen this before, but just in case you're not, let's remind you. Here we go. Okay, Tim. First one up here. I think this one may be the least current. This one may be from a while ago, but you tell me. Here we go. We'll stop after this. You can talk about it.
Okay. That's one of my best reels I've ever put out for whatever reason. It's got thousands of views. But it's one of my
Incredible.
favorite. Yeah, it's one of my favorite artifacts I've ever found. I found that when I was in Germany with Dave on my first trip, and that thing was literally laying on the surface of the ground. Basically, it was in the moss, in zero digging. I thought it was such a, for
Tell
it.
people what it is. Some people might not be familiar with what it is.
Okay, so the time period is another question mark. So we're not sure if it's Roman or Celtic.
Oh,
Some people think it's a transition. Majority of people think it's Roman. So it's a Roman fibula brooch is what it is. It's missing the pin in the back, but the whole frame is there, and it's got these weird beads that go all the way down. It's missing a couple of the beads, but it's got these intricate little beads that would super rare. I've never seen anything like it. And but you would think a piece of brass or copper or whatever, it's probably some bronze or brass, whatever it's made out of, would give you a pretty solid signal, especially if it's being right on the surface, right? It was kind of a janky, foily kind of signal, and I had zero faith in this signal. I just grabbed my pinpointer. I could tell it was shallow, it was really loud.
hmm.
And I started rooting around in the moss, and you seen what happened.
Yeah.
When I seen it laying there, I grabbed my camera and picked it up, and it
I had,
was
if people were paying attention, and I don't blame them if they weren't, but in my little intro video, that one of those things with the little dimples and everything, that's a Roman brooch from 150 AD. I'm surprised as I learn more about these fibulas that how many different sizes, shapes that they came in.
the first one I ever found was in Colchester, and Chris said when I turned it in, he messaged me. He goes, "Mate, that this is the smallest fibula brooch I've ever seen." He
Wow.
goes, it had to have been for an infant. It's literally 3/4 of an inch tall, and
Hmm.
it's still got the hook and everything. The pin's gone, but is the just like basically looks like a little piece of wire with a head
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. Often those pins were iron, I think, right? So they're like, a lot of those old ones, the iron's gone.
A lot of
But
them were iron.
yeah. And folks, if you want to see more of Tim's finds, like I said, check him out. Ill Digger, YouTube, Instagram. That was pulled off of his Instagram. Let's take a look at your second fantastic find. It's fantastic to me, and I actually had to shorten this one. I'm a little restricted in terms of the file size I can
Okay.
load into this wonderful platform. So we'll enter this one like mid clip here we go.
Pretty Einthaler. Once silver Grochen. Wow. Cool. 1872. All right, let's keep going.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was 3 days ago.
So clearly that wasn't in Germany.
No, oddly enough, and I've only been to Germany twice, but usually go with a group of 5 or 7 guys, and at the end of a trip, you know how it is when you go to Colchester, there's piles of finds, and you think in those 2 trips somebody would have found a coin like that. In 2 trips, no one in our group has ever found a coin like that.
Yeah. I has anybody in the chat found a silver German coin?
Yeah, well, matter
Silver.
of fact, funny enough, 20, I think it was 2014 or 2017. I went down to Central Illinois. I met up with Daddy Digger and another guy from our American Diggers, our American Detectors Forum, 22 Cent. And they had been down there for a couple hours before I got there in the morning. And detected around for about an hour or so. And they said, "Hey, Tim, we've been detecting for a while. We haven't detected this side of the school much. We just kind of came around this side when you got here. We're gonna go back to the car, get something to drink. We'll be back in a minute. Do you want anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." So they no sooner went around the edge of the building, heading for their cars, and I got a zinc penny signal, deep one. I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna be an Indian head. So I started digging down, and I actually found a 2.5 silver groschen. So just like that, but it's bigger. It's a 2.5 groschen.
Oh my
Red.
gosh. Oh my gosh. You got a new sub here, just so you know. Um,
Awesome.
ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Yeah, Tim is a wealth of knowledge. I have learned a ton from watching. Well, Tim inadvertently put me on my first gold. I'm sure many of you have heard the story, so I won't repeat it. You're probably tired of hearing it, but he's the reason why I went over to England. And long story short, like 18 months after he was telling me this story, I was on the same tour he was. Happened, I didn't know it at the time, same field that he had also found some gold on. There's thousands of acres over there you can detect. And lo and behold, I found a 1604 James the First. I'll be happy to send pictures of it to anybody if they want to see it. But thank you, Tim. I
Yes,
appreciate you, man.
I'm
I
glad you found it. That was
Bruce has an interesting one, a Russian dime. Wow, Bruce is going to be on here in a couple weeks. He is vacationing at the moment, but I don't want him to rub it in too much. But we're going to have him on very soon. Um, yeah, very cool. I think we got one more. I pulled up here. I think I might have saved. I think the best for last. This was one of your recent ones here. Very recent. Let's see.
cow. What is this signal? Step that down for a sec. 8485. Look at the size of this thing. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's a huge gold ring. Zinc penny signal. Unreal. That's a massive gold ring. 14K. Boom. Chunky mother. Yes. All right. Let's keep going. It's my gold dance.
I was impressed with the find, Tim, but the fact that you had to go to social media and download a video of somebody else dancing, I I think there's room for improvement there, brother.
All right. All right.
Hey,
It
listen,
was, it was
I got a stick figure doing dancing on mine, so
yeah,
I'm right there with you. Trust
it
me.
was a gift. I just zoomed up big enough to fill up the whole screen.
Oh my gosh. And I asked you before we hopped on, I said, was that like it looked like a yard or something? That where was that?
It was in a park, like 8 blocks from where I'm working right now. I just pulled up Google Maps and found the little green square near me. So I zoomed in on it. It's okay. It's a big park. Looks like there's a couple of soccer fields and a baseball diamond and a tot lot. So I went to the city's website, kind of checked out all of their rules and regulations for all their parks, and I didn't see anything about metal detecting on it. So I went down to the park the following day. I took a walk around, checked all the posted signs, see if there was anything posted about it on their posted signs.
Yeah.
And then I went and grabbed my gear, and I just took my little hand digger, no shovel, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And just some of the stuff I was in, is just go for shallow stuff, nothing, nothing deeper than, just a few inches. And that's,
Hmm.
like I said, I got one little silver ring, two little junkers, a couple pendants, and a pile of clad and pull tabs. And I was just about ready to start heading home. I was thinking about heading home. Still had an hour drive to get back home when I got this just another zinc penny signal and pried it open. And I think you seen it real quick how it was
Hmm.
just you get a glimpse real quick in the video when I popped it open. I got a pair of those new Meta Oakley
Yeah.
sunglasses, so I
Yes.
was tinkering around filming with it. So that was filmed with my glasses, and
Yeah. I
so
remember you showed me a little bit about those. We were at Digstock.
I was
Those are
big stuff.
really cool. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
I'm really into those because I actually think there's an opportunity for a manufacturer. They call them wearables
mm-hmm,
to display the target ID. It's a Bluetooth connection, right?
yep,
Yeah. Anyway, very cool. Very cool. I want to switch gears, but kind of not. When
that's
you
fine.
detect parks or home sites, do you ever use a ground cloth?
Mm,
Some people don't.
it depends. A lot of times I don't. Yard, a real nice yard I will, but parks not normally. Fields obviously no, but a lot of times I have a hanky in my pocket anyways,
Yeah.
so which I'm willing to use as a drop cloth as a
Yeah.
drop of a dime. So
Yeah.
a lot of times if I get into a hole, like man, whatever this is deeper than I thought it was. I'll push all the dirt back in the hole,
Hmm.
grab the hanky, throw it out, and then
Hmm.
continue on that way. If I'm starting to make a mess before it gets out of control, a lot of times I just start over and.
I don't know where I first saw it. I wish I did, but I've done a couple of videos about metal detecting equipment. Here's my gear.
Mhm.
I'm a self-professed gearhead, but somebody was using a drop cloth, and like kind of like as you pointed out, when you're in a park or home site, it gives you the opportunity to put your spoils onto some type of cloth or something. So you know
Mhm.
what I mean. So you can seal the plug more cleanly, no trace left behind, that kind of thing. Mrs. History Digger, Amy made me one a few years ago that was made out of something called duck cloth, which is like a waxed canvas. And unfortunately, one day I left it in the van on the last day of an England hunt, and I lost it, so it's gone.
Okay.
And she's made a few more. I have a couple more, but like that first one was so good. And these cloths are like pairs of jeans. Once you break them in, they're perfect. But
Yeah.
anyway, I got an email from a fellow detectorist. He turned me on to this company. See if that'll focus here.
Yeah. Right there.
You
Crystal
know,
clear.
and it's a family-owned business. And by the way, what I love, I'm a believer here. They also have a nice little prayer on the back here as well. So they're a
Nice.
Christian company. But one of the things they make, several things, several outdoors things that they make, are these duck cloth, duck canvas drop cloths. Okay. And you might say, well, what's the big deal? Well, regular cloth, I mean, if it gets muddy wet, you got to wash it. These things are perfect. And look at that. I mean, they fold up to nothing in your finder's bag.
Like you say, they're kind of a rigid, rugged material when it's new. But like you said, also once those things get broke in, they're like your best pair of shoes you've ever had.
They're
They-
perfect. And they're selling these again. I'll put the thing up here. They're selling them online. I have nothing to do with them. I bought mine. I paid for mine. $15. Okay. And again, it's called Campcraft outdoors. But guess what, Tim?
Yes, sir.
We're going to give one of these away tonight.
Whoa.
We're going to give one of these away
Whoa.
tonight. We're going to also, someone's going to win a Deus 2 hat.
That's a cool hat.
And I was giving these away at the Show Me event. So some folks walked away with these tote
Uh,
bags that have
mine's
one of
up.
my,
I
I
think
think you have
mine's
one of these
upstairs. I
somewhere. That's
think mine's
probably,
upstairs. Yeah, that thing came in super, super handy when we were at the meet and greet, and
yes.
everyone's handing out stickers. And I went over to American Digger and bought some magazines, and then your free raffle prize. And next thing you know, I got 10 things I'm trying to juggle around, and carrying a soda around. And like, man, you're like, Rob's like, you want a bag? I'm like, yes, I want a bag.
Yes, they're fun.
Yes, I want
It's
a
fun.
bag.
It's a nice light thing. It's easy for to pack for giveaways, but
Oh,
one
so
person's
handy.
going to win all three of those. And like we've done, we're going to keep this simple. What we're going to do here, when I say go, not yet. We only, let's see, what do we have here? We got about 25 people on here. We're going to ask you to, in the chat, when I say go, to guess a number between 1 and 40. And Tim knows the winning number, all right. And whoever guesses that number first, they can be in the United States, they can be in Europe, it doesn't matter, are going to win those two things. And I might even throw some other stuff in there as part of the giveaway. The giveaway. But and if any of you have any questions about the duck cloth, I'm telling you, these drop cloths are phenomenal. $15. That's pretty
Yeah,
cheap too.
I think it'll last forever,
Oh my
unless you lose.
gosh. Oh
Unless you
my
lose.
gosh. So, okay, a number between 1 and 40. Who's going to guess the number? Enter your guesses now.
Boom.
Now, there's a
Go.
bit of a delay between the broadcast and the comments.
Hmm.
So, Tim, I hope you're looking at chat as well.
Here they come. Here's one.
Not yet. No. Sorry, Dawn. Sorry, Scotty. No, Papa Vane. Hey, Papa Vane. Aggie,
Boom.
good to see you, my friend. Wisco Detect, thank you. First person to join live stream tonight. Metal Detecting Wisconsin, Jeff. No. Sorry.
Keep guessing, guys. Keep
Keep
guessing.
guessing. No. 5 Mile, sorry. Phil, come on, Phil. No. Come on. Scotty, no. Randy. Phil's even under another. No, Phil, come on. You need Sharon to help you out here. Um,
Ooh, someone was really
I
close.
don't see anybody yet. It's amazing.
They're jumping up like 20
Yeah.
comments at a
Been a few
time.
people have been really close. Again, 1 through 40. Go back, scroll. Oh, I do believe we have a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, stop entering. Stop entering
Oh,
guesses.
I do see it. I do see
Okay.
one.
Tell me who you see first, and I'll verify if that's who I
Well,
see.
I'm going backwards, so that's probably not
That's
going to be helpful.
okay. I believe that's okay. I can
I,
correct myself if I'm wrong. I think the first person to correct this was Larry 5 Mile Relic Hunter.
that's the one I seen. Yeah.
Okay, hold up the number, Tim. Ready? One,
Yes.
two, 28.
20. Is
There we
yours
go.
backwards?
Mine is showing up backwards. Why is it doing that?
Yeah. No,
It,
yours
yeah,
looks well to me. Yours looks straight. Does mine
isn't
look?
that yours looks straight to me? Mine looks
Oh, yours
backwards.
look. I can read yours, but mine looks backwards to me.
I have no idea. Well, I have no idea. Um, okay, so
We're just
isn't
pointing
that the
cameras at
funniest
each
thing?
other.
Funniest thing. Larry, what I need you to do is to email me your full name, and because I don't want to address it Larry 5 Morella Connor, although that might get to you. I don't know. And mailing address, and I'll throw those in the mail to you as well as something else I got coming for you as well. And some of you might think that's why I was wearing the XP garb tonight. No, no, you are wrong. You are wrong. I know that's what you're thinking. We're going to hold that surprise for just a few minutes here. So that's not why. But congratulations, folks. Thanks for doing that. I hope you enjoyed that. These giveaways are these giveaways are fun. Congratulations. Yep. All right.
Yeah,
Tim,
congratulations, Larry.
Tim, a question for you.
Okay.
250th anniversary. Okay. Do you know what I think it was a week or two ago was just released associated with the 250th anniversary? I'm putting you on the spot again. Sorry. You might not.
The American Eagle, the Silver Eagle, the bullion
Boy,
coin that was
well, you're
released
you might
about
be putting me on the spot. I didn't know there was an American Eagle that was new, but you're right. There's
the yeah, oh yeah.
some
So
new.
this is the circulating coins. Yeah, I love that dime design.
I has anyone seen these appear yet? Like I think they were released. I'm not sure if it was a week or 2 weeks ago. They
I
entered.
haven't I haven't got anything in my change yet.
No.
I seen a post on Instagram today. Someone found one in the park already.
Oh my
They
goodness,
found a
really?
26 quarter in the
Well,
park.
what's not shown on this, I just grabbed a random image offline. There is also a 2026 well, it's a I'll call it commemorative. There is a Zinken, and it has the
Yep.
first date of the Lincoln release and the last date, and they're being released this year.
And it
But I
has a
think
privy.
some of these are beautiful.
And the Lincoln set has a privy mark or something too, doesn't it?
There is. I know it has the 2 years on it. I think there is something else. Is that what it
There's
is?
I think it has a little Liberty Bell. I
Oh
think.
wow. Very cool. I'm eager to hear like when is the first, when do they start to appear? Maybe when will the first one be found? That kind of a thing. But
Mhm.
the other thing, and I'm not doing this justice because here, I guess technically you could call this like news, but let's run this just in case here. Why not? It took me so long to put that darn thing together. I had to play it, Tim. So um, this is, I'll say, old news, but I'm going to let you talk about this one, okay? And I'm just going to set it up by saying, tell us about the gold back.
The gold backs. Okay. Well, I'm no expert by any means. Um, I was introduced to him by Chuck Smalley. He was given away at I think it was Chicago Dig
CTH.
Fest.
Oh,
I
swing in the
think
summer, maybe?
yeah, it could have been swinging in the summer too. I think he's done it at a couple places. He did him on Josh's live stream a couple of times too. But what they are is they're I guess what they're calling a hyper fractional gold piece of gold, basically. Um, though each one of those notes you see there actually contain gold. They're not backed by gold. They actually have gold in them, and each one has like so. This little half note you see here has one two is it no 1/4000th of an ounce of gold. So that's just next to nothing, but it's still gold and it holds value.
Hmm.
And if some people will say, well, how do you know what each one of those notes is worth? Goldback's website has a calculator, has a daily value. It will tell you what each one of those notes is worth. Basically, what its face value would be. So in a transaction, you could use. So let's just say your transaction was $50. You had a $5 goldback, and it was worth say it was worth $35. You could spend your gold back and pitch in $15 and make the $50.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, well, let me add to this. I mean, gold is what's an ounce of gold today? I mean, it's down a little bit, but like $4,600 an ounce, I
That's
think,
just
something like that.
45 or 46,
Yeah.
you know.
And if even if you have just a gram of gold, which is tiny,
Hmm.
and you wanted to barter or exchange it or something like that, I mean, it's still several $100s. So this notion of like a fractional, like Tim said, gold,
Hyperfractional.
yeah, hyperfractional, like the one is 1/2000th of an ounce, but these aren't just like commemorative things with gold foil woven in. Talk about like aren't there some states that like this is like approved currency in certain states, right?
Yeah, I think there's 7 states now Florida, Utah, Idaho just came on this past week.
I see
Arizona,
Nevada, Wyoming.
Wyoming, Arizona, um, Florida. Oh, Florida's up there. And another thing about these things, if you get a chance to hold one of these things in your hand, the
Mhm.
artwork on each one of
Oh,
these pieces is amazing.
they're beautiful.
This new Idaho set coming out, I think is my favorite so far. And the $100 note is pretty
Hmm.
pricey.
Hmm.
It's like I think it's like $1,000 or a little
Hmm.
over, I think, for that
Hmm.
100
Hmm.
note. But I would
But,
love to get one
but
because
there's real gold in these things,
there is, and
and I
that
know
one's got
you can buy them from. I think I know there's like uh, uh,
Mex.
APMEX, American Precious Metal Exchange. A lot of the folks that sell silver, that sell gold, you can find them online and stuff like that. But uh, what prompted me to talk about this tonight, I was watching Josh Kimmel and Chuck Smalley be on Sight and Sound, and just the other night, Sunday night, I think it was, and they were Chuck was displaying a gold back. And how did he get that gold back, Tim? Tell everybody about this.
Yeah, well, so I was on the Goldbacks website. This is probably 2.5 weeks ago or whatever. And it's scrolling away. I was at work. I was waiting to load trucks and I was waiting for the next truck to pull up. And I was just scrolling through their website, looking through it. Go to the bottom, and there was like receive your free gold back or something like that. I was like, hmm. So I clicked on it. And you just basically just fill out the form and ask you for your name, address, email, and all that good stuff. Um, you send it in. They do a quick check to make sure your name isn't in their database already. None of your information is already in there, and then they send you one of those, a half note, a free gold back.
And
So
this is I was emailing Scotty McClory about this, and he was like, "Well, what's that worth?" And I think this one 2 thousandths of a troy. I mean, what is it, like $3, $4, $2, something like that?
the halfbacks today are like right like 450
Yeah. So
today.
it is indeed like, yeah, like I was telling somebody. Sometimes you want to buy a horse. Sometimes you want to buy a loaf of bread, right? This is something that would buy you a loaf of bread. But so I heard them talking about this. I'm like, what? Somebody's giving away a free gold back? No, has to be a scam, right?
Yeah,
I went on the
that's
website. You can see it listed here. Chuck has received his, and this is the actual form. Okay. And you might say, what's the catch? So you do not even have to provide a phone number, but you are giving them your email address, and
yeah.
you're basically allowing them to send you promotional email. That's it.
Yep. And you can unsubscribe as soon as your stuff comes if you want.
That's it,
So
folks.
it's
So,
no big deal.
but I want to go back to something you said. The artwork on these things, they are incredible. And I first saw these. I was watching a show on Angel Studio called Homestead, and it's one of these, post-apocalyptic. There's a explosion, an event, and these
Yeah.
these these preppers are going to
Mhm.
their homestead, their safe place, and at one point, they're bartering. And on the sign it said, we're looking to buy chickens and other things, medicine, and we accept goldbacks.
Yep.
And it was the second time I had seen a goldback like you. I had seen a few of these events giving it away, but folks, you heard it from Tim and Chuck Smalley, and now Rob Rizzo. I've ordered mine, and you might want to check these things out. I'll put it up here again, freegoldback.com. You are giving your email address, you're consenting to that kind of stuff, but these are state approved currencies in those states. Oh, one other thing, interestingly, there are 50 goldback ATMs now around the United States.
Yeah. I just learned that tonight. Rob just told me that. So
Yeah.
I pulled up their conversion chart right here. It's on their website, and it
Okay.
changes daily. It changes daily with the market prices. I don't think it changes like a ticker daily or hourly. I think they update it in the morning or something like that.
Hmm.
So right now, that half note that you'll receive in the mail if you fill out the form at today's prices is worth $4.62. So
Um,
if you did a transaction worth $5, You could take that one, no, the half note, put it towards your transaction, and you're going to owe them 38 cents.
Well, and listen, I mean, far be it for me to give metal detecting advice, let alone an investment advice. But you get it all
Yeah.
here on this show, the Digging History Show. Our motto is discover, learn, share. But I had somebody tell me years ago, you ideally your portfolio roughly, an investment portfolio, 10% precious metals is not a bad idea because it's often a hedge against inflation.
Hmm.
And but for a lot of people, an ounce of gold, half an ounce, a gram even, at Costco, I mean, it's out of reach for a lot of people. Here's your
Hmm.
opportunity to purchase fractional gold, whether you stack it, save it, pass it on to your kids, whatever, or just admire the beauty of the gold back. You heard it here from Tim Blank on our
Yeah, go
show.
get you some free gold. Who doesn't want some free gold?
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
kidding, no kidding.
it's not, you're not going to retire with this little note, but it's, like you said, it's a little fractional, hyper fractional piece of gold. And
Yeah.
I don't, hopefully we don't ever see apocalyptic times, but
I just hope we don't have to hear you say that again. Is what I'm also
apoc-
hoping.
apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic. That's easy
Apocalyptic.
for you to say, Tim. Easy for you to say.
I'll
Uh,
say it fine tomorrow morning, but right now I can't say it for some
okay.
reason.
All right. Hey, since we're laughing, why not? This is a good time to transition. I want. This is the reason why I'm wearing the XP stuff. I got to give a shout out to XP. I got to give a
Okay.
shout out to XP because I think Merrill actually came up with this idea. Kudos to him because do y'all remember I think it was called the Ice Bucket Challenge back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
You got tagged and you had to pour a bucket of,
Douche. Yeah.
and everybody you tag somebody else. So they're obviously, I love my Deus too. I do have a Manicore. I've recently acquired the Legend 2, but I do love my Deus too. And for many reasons, but one of which is its portability, it's wireless, and you can swap coils and everything. Well, in an attempt to highlight one of their differentiators, they came up with this challenge and they call it the XP Coil Change Challenge. I'm going to show you two clips. I'll stop after the first one, but it is somewhat. I think it's self-explanatory here, but I thought it would be fun to share this real quickly. This is maybe 50 seconds, so bear with me. If we can watch some metal detecting on YouTube. Hey, let's check out Merrill. Let's see what he's up to.
If coil changing was an Olympic sport, XP would win. That's because the competition is screwed, as in they have to unscrew their coils and then screw in another one. We just input the serial number and then push a button. Let me set the world record in real time.
He did it. He did it. That was fun, eh?
Nicola White, I challenge you to beat my record.
Well, I'm back home now after successfully completing the XP Coil Change Challenge. And now I challenge Michael Eakers to do the same.
Dang, these guys are fast.
So that's my attempt at the XP Coil Change Challenge. And now I challenge Rob Rizzo, the History Digger.
What the heck? It's pretty easy to change the Deus to coil, but to compete with those guys, I'm going to need an extra edge. I'm going to have to think like a treasure hunter. Okay, so
Nice nice
Michael
video.
tags me in this thing. Thank you very much. And I'm always up for a challenge. And if you those were obviously edited clips. So Merrill tags Nicola White, who I love to watch, by the way. Mudlarker. You know who she is, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
And she tags Michael Eakers from XP, who is lightning fast, and it is a cool thing that you can just couple presses of the buttons within seconds move from one coil to another. I mean, it is just an awesome feature, and I don't think you appreciate how awesome it is unless you go back to having to unwrap and screw it and make sure the pins are lined up and everything. So I
Another thing I
had to
like
think
about
long. I had to do something different, and the only thing I had to call upon the treasure hunting spirits. So this is my feeble attempt here at the challenge.
Okay, mateys, are you ready? There's no reason to get tied up here. Let's take the XP Coil Change Challenge.
That was the XP Deus 2 Coil Change Challenge. I might not be the fastest, but remember, I am a one-eyed pirate. So listen, Stefan Wild from Crazy Detectors in Germany, I challenge you to the XP Coil Change Challenge. And remember, anybody can do this challenge. Just tag someone, XP Coil Change Challenge. Good luck.
Nice. Arr.
R. Tim, do you know what a pirate's favorite letter be? R.
Arr.
No, it's not to R, it's to C.
Oh, the sea.
Good. That's a grandpa joke.
Gotcha.
It was fun, but I thought it was a creative way to actually highlight a differentiator. But I have yet to see Stefan's video. I'm still waiting, Stefan. It's been a couple days now. Pressure's on.
It's tough to beat. It's tough to beat.
Well, there was a gentleman at the Show Me event. Josh, I think, I'm forgetting his name for a minute, but Vets Digs Beeps, he sells the lanyards. I do believe he did it in 12 seconds. He was lightning fast. And of course, I had several outtakes that I'm not going to show you.
Sure.
It took me just a little bit longer. Yeah, we won't go there. But anyway, I thought it was pretty fun. Okay, circling back a little bit, I had alluded to some upcoming trips. You have a big one planned, if I'm not mistaken, a ways up north.
It's way up
Yeah,
north.
and I think I have a screen capture to introduce this. Maybe I do. Let me see. Oh, maybe it is. Let's see if I do. While I'm trying to find it, tell everybody what it's about.
It's about gold. Going back up to Anchorage, Alaska.
Alaska.
Actually, go back up to Nome, Alaska. We're gonna fly into Anchorage, and then we'll go from Anchorage to Nome.
Here's a short clip, and then tell us what we're looking at. This is really short.
Okay.
Here, I've been scarred. That don't mean that I'm hiding now. No, I know where I set the bar. I've got grit. I'm pure gold. I sing like an angel, but I fight like an animal. I can't quit. I won't fold. So whatever you got for me, I'll be ready to tackle. Bring it. Let it all fall down. Bring it. I will stand my ground. Ready to go, ready to blaze. Oh no, no matter the pain. So take your best shot.
Beautiful.
And you'll see what I got. Bring it.
Man,
Wow.
isn't that look cool?
Wow.
Who doesn't want to do that?
Oh my. Okay, I'm not sure where to start. The food, the fishing.
Yes.
But you gotta talk about the goal. Tell us what these trips are about. Who you're doing it with? Have you done it before?
Yes, I've done it one other time. I seen it on TV years ago, but I didn't get to see this resort. But Chicago Ron went one year, and his buddy Mike found an 7 or 8 ounce nugget. I mean, the thing was the size of a small potato. It was a solid 8 ounce nugget. It's just unbelievable. And Ron had found like some 1 and 2 grammers himself, and I was just like, that is exactly what I wanted. That's what got me into metal detecting. I was watching that prospecting show on TV on the Dish Network years ago, and so I messaged Ron, right, because I had been on his tour, so I had his number. I just called him up right away. I said, dude, I seen that video you just posted. Where did you? When was that? He's like, oh, we just got back. I'm like, I didn't think they had any of those pay to play prospecting things up there anymore because the price of gold was climbing, you know. He goes, no, these AKAUs, they still host. I was like, man, are you planning on going back up there? He goes, oh yeah, we've already booked for next summer. I was like, is there any room? He goes, yeah, they got like 5 more spots. I'm like,
When is this, Tim?
August. It's in late summer. So we go up there. It's 22 and a half hours of light.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, they got 1 spot left. I understand somebody canceled, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how it came about. But I heard Chuck say on the live stream the other night that there was some spots left. I'm not sure if it's the first week or the second week, because Chuck's been going up there for years and years and years. So him and the owner Betty, they work out deals, and Chuck brings up groups full of people, 10, 12 people at a time. And after the past few years, some really nice pieces have been found, and people have started posting on social media. The group's getting bigger, faster.
It,
So
I visited a guy, I want to say, Boston Mike, he goes by,
that's
and
who
he
found
goes over to
who found-
Colchester. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's who found that nugget. Yeah.
That nugget, I held that in my hand.
Oh,
And
did you?
yeah, it was incredible. But a lot of folks are using the Mine Labs. What's the other one? The GPX? Is that what it is?
Well, yeah. The Mine Lab of Gold Monsters, kind of. It's more, it's more affordable for a lot of people. It's not $8, $9, $10,000. It's still like a $1,800 or $2,000 machine, I think.
But can you take a 900, a Manicore up there?
That's all I use. I took my 800, my Equinox 800. I ran my 11-inch coil, and just ran it in. Some guys were hunting in park mode.
Wow.
Turned off the multi-frequency, went right to just 40 kilohertz. And
You
ran
can help
park
me out with this one, but Mike, the guy that found the big nugget, I think he told me something like back in the day, what you're doing is detecting the spoils piles from
exactly
these
what-
bigger machines, and they're designed to actually look for smaller gold, I think, if I understood him correctly.
correctly. Yeah, so it's a bucket line dredge is what they're tailing piles. So what it is, if you can picture in your head a chainsaw, but instead of it having blades on it for cutting, it has buckets on it, and it just goes down in the water, just like imagine a chainsaw bar going down in the water like this, and that chain just goes around and around, and it has buckets on it. And when it comes down, it takes a scoop out of the bottom of the pond, and this thing's floating in its own pond. It's digging its own way. It's got spud poles that go down so it can't move itself around. But as it's digging, it brings that spoil in, and as the bucket's turning upside down, it dumps it right into a trommel. And that trommel, then it's got spray bars in there. It washes it all, turns it into a liquid, basically. And there's big boulders in there, and there's super fine sand and everything in between. And there's way, way, way more of that super fine flour gold than there are those big nuggets.
Chuck makes a point about you do a fair, I mean, the majority of this is detecting the tailings, but don't you do some fishing, right?
If you want, yeah, if you want, it's offered a couple times a week. When we went up there, we were hoping to catch the steelheads running, but we missed them by like a week. We could see them out in the water. Augie and Tyler were pointing it out. He goes, "You see all the seagulls out there, about 50 yards out, and seagulls, and you can see the top of the water was rippling." He goes, "That's the fish." He goes, "They're all just schooled up out there." And he goes, "And next week they're all going to try and come into this one river and start heading back upstream." He goes, "Next week at this time, we were right at the mouth of that inlet by the river." He goes, "Next week at this time, you'll be able to stand here and walk across here and not get your boots wet."
Oh my goodness.
That's how many fish will be in this mouth
Yeah.
of this river here.
There was one part of that clip, it might have looked like we were looking at a basket of cherries, but those were salmon eggs. That was caviar, I think, right?
Yeah, it's fish. It's
Very-
bait.
Yeah, they fish a lot with those salmon eggs up there, and I know they
yeah.
use not just like an individual egg, but like a
And
sack.
Little net sack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a completely different kind of fishing. A friend of mine invited me up a few years ago. He's a pilot, lives up in Anchorage. And I was like, once I was committed to go, and I was all excited, and I said, should I bring my tackle? And he said, no, it's a completely different kind of fishing up there for salmon. But boy, did I have a blast.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like I said, we missed the run. No salmon were caught the week we were there. But on the Thursday we were there, Augie and Tyler loaded up the boats, and about 4 guys went 60 miles north of camp. They were 30 miles south of the Arctic Circle, and they put 2 boats in the water, went up river, and they went northern pike fishing, and boy, did they bring back some of the biggest pike I've ever seen in my life. And I've been to Canada a lot.
Wow.
I mean, they're 40, what's in my head, 40 inches, over 40
Yeah.
inches.
Yeah.
And that's what we had for dinner the next night.
Okay. So we're going to look forward to hear hopefully a report from you, when you come back, and
Yeah.
it'll be
Yep. I'll put.
exciting. I hope you take some pictures and videos when you're up there.
Yeah, that was one of the things while I was up there last time. Is I was going kind of going through like a dry spell in my social media and posting pictures and taking videos, but that was like my dream trip. It was a place I always wanted to go. So I basically, when I got on the plane, I just told myself, I said, just
Hmm.
have your camera out, your phone out all the time,
Well,
photos, videos, everything. Just you'll never regret taking a picture. You can
that,
always
that I
delete.
think I think that's the secret. If you can like turn it on and just have it record,
Wouldn't that
you
be
know.
nice?
I heard this guy the other day. I so enjoyed it. I was well, let me just say, I heard this. I'll come back to this in a moment. One of my upcoming guests, Giselle Kirley. We were trying to have her on the other day. I had a major technical issue. My router died. My service providers provided router died. So she was very gracious about it, but we had to cancel and reschedule. But she was actually on a dig well, I want to say now it's probably about a week ago with Time Team, like a 3-day dig and Time Team. And anyway, I was following along. First of all, she was real gracious. She said, "Don't worry, we'll reschedule it." So next Tuesday, Giselle will be on. She's an archaeologist. She's been involved in the dig of Sutton Hoo. She's on several of the British TV shows. She's extremely articulate, wonderful storyteller. Anyway, I'm following along her adventure on this dig, and one of the reels she had shared, this gentleman in this beautiful English voice, he says something. I'm going to try to get this right. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And it
Love
and
it.
it it was just like you have to enjoy the moment, and you don't want to be like worried so much about capturing video and everything, right? The moment takes over. I often
Yeah.
find that I don't capture any footage. It's a challenge, isn't it?
Hmm. I actually, when I went up there, that I found that 1 ounce nugget, and we were running around. Everyone's trying to, because we just got down to the pushes finally after all our flights and hustle and bustle and airports and baggage claims and all that crap are finally on the ground, and people are starting to find gold nuggets. Everyone's running around all mad, and KG had already found two. I found that big one, and I'm like, I gotta find another one. Da, 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 da. And then it kind of hit me. I was like, you know what? Slow down a minute.
Exactly.
Take a break. You're here.
Yeah.
You just accomplished your goal. Your trip's already made.
Yeah.
Slow down. So I went down to the creek, rinsed the. Actually, I stuffed that thing in my pocket, all dust, dirt, all the sand and grit was in the bottom of my pocket and everything. I went down to the creek, rinsed it off, took a moment, took some good pictures in the sunlight with the native flowers in the background, and took a chance to enjoy the moment and soak it in.
But at the
I'm
same
glad.
time, you're a smart man, see? So you also, while you're doing all those things, you also invested in those glasses. And all you have to do is tap.
Now I'm going to. It's going to be handy dandy.
Right.
They
Right.
they are nice for that.
All right. Hey, awesome. Tim, so great talking to you again. We're about an hour and 15 minutes in. We should probably let these fine folks go. We have several that have stuck with us this whole time.
Yeah. Thanks for coming and hanging out, everybody.
I know I appreciate it. Tim, I appreciate you being here. What do you got going on the rest of this week?
Well, again, my wife's out of town, so I got daddy duty at home. We're dog sitting an elderly dog right now, so he can't be left alone for too long. So I gotta kind of hang out until there's more people around the house. Everyone's down enjoying themselves in the sun and on the beach right now, and we're here watching the temperature drop by the minute. I don't know about you, but it was 72 degrees when I left work today. When I got home an hour later, it was 62 degrees.
Oh, big
It's
time.
dropping
We
fast.
we actually I was planning today to take the RV down and empty the tanks after this trip, but we had a big hail warning, so I actually drove it over to where I store it, and I'll have to do that. Yeah, temperature this front came in and skies turned dark. We had some lightning, but there was some hail, but not in my area.
Yeah, it's supposed to see some rain for the next 3 days straight. It sounds like too. So
Yeah,
won't be doing a
yeah.
whole lot. Give me a good reason to stay home, I guess, with the dog.
Exactly. Well, listen, thank you. You are a wonderful co-host. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Any final words?
No, thanks for having me. For anyone, appreciate a follow and a sub on Instagram and YouTube if you got room in your hearts.
Ill Digger, YouTube, Instagram. He's also on Ring Finders, and you'll see him back here, hopefully as a regular co-host as well. The other individual that's going to be joining me here in next week will be Gary Gross, Double G Diggs. He's going to be the co-host during my Giselle Kirley interview. So I really hope some of you can join. You will not want to miss this one. So, all right, Tim, thanks again, my friend. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, folks.
Good luck, everybody.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?